what a beautiful morning. Ooh, that's pretty high. That's pretty high. Oh, what a beautiful day. Wow, it's beautiful. It's a little too beautiful. We're coming back into the shop. You guys, today, we are going to put the last crowning touch. No, it won't be the last touch on the old Coronado, but this is the last major thing. The last major big thing in this truck is front to back, top to the bottom, square. All right, just a reminder for you how beautiful this engine is. You haven't seen it in a minute. I just thought I would show you. Fresh. I didn't do the radiator. That was one of the last things that guy did beforehand. So radiator is not old. We got the charge air cooler is brand new. As you well know, the engine's new. Compressor's good. Tucked back there in the darkness is that Eaton Reman 18-speed. See down there, it says Detroit Diesel Electronic Control. Inside of that Detroit Diesel Electronic Control, the tune that has this engine right around that 600, 625 horsepower right here. And I will tell you, she's pulling great. And you can still feel that it's getting stronger and stronger every trip. Now, as I had mentioned on the inside, replaced the skeletal structure, which got rid of the squeaks, the reeks, the rattles, the rolls, sack shocks. Hey, Robbie.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, Rob. You guys, check this out. We got two R's in here. We got Rob, not to be confused with Rob E. Anyway, then back here. This is the back rear end. It was replaced right before I bought it. Did verify that. So the last piece of the puzzle is this. This is known as the front differential. 1.4 million miles on it, which is how many miles are on the entire body of this truck, okay? 1.4 million. So we had took the fill plug off at Joe's, back when, and there was a bunch of just fines, I guess you can call them. Basically, as your gears wear and wear and wear, they let off just a little, it just grinds a little metal off every time. And that metal sticks to the magnetic drain plug. Oh yeah, here we go. Rob brought it over. See some of that? That's like the sludge. That's all just metal fines mixed with oil that kind of clump together into a goosh splangle, we call that. Good news is this Meritor RD20145, I believe was the part number on it, has held up really well. It's done great. Because I like everything to be the same age, I really don't like when trucks start to have mix-matched components. I got an unknown engine with new rear ends and an unknown transmission. It drives me crazy. I like everything to all kind of be known. So this is the last piece of the puzzle. Once we put it in place, poop, everything will be known. We'll know the age of everything on this rig. You guys, this is a lesson for you out there. There's two different philosophies, okay? Let's talk about this for a second. Some people say if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Did you fill in the blank? Other people say every part has a useful lifespan. And once you achieve that useful life, you should change the part out, okay? So like, you got a good engine, you got a good engine block that's made it to 1 million miles, 1.1. One guy would say you should overhaul it because your block is in good shape, nothing's exploded, you haven't had any catastrophic failures, you have the money, you're going to have to overhaul it anyway at some point, whether it's 1.1 or 1.3 million, it's going to have to be rebuilt. So one guy would say do it, another guy would say, why would you do it? It's working. Let it go. In the real world, where you can see some of this applied a lot is in aircraft maintenance. Everything on an aircraft just has a certain service life, and after so many hours, unless it's Boeing. As I've grown older and become more financially secure, I've really developed the philosophy that if something is just, if it's gotten there and it doesn't owe you anything anymore, it's done a good old life. I'm hauling cattle. I want to try to mitigate all of the catastrophic failures that we can. And I'm going to start working on the driveline while Big Dog works on these bolts. All right, she's down, she's out. That's the old driveline. That's the yoke. These are the caps. These are the best. These are the easiest for taking off. Those caps go there. So you undo the caps. Some of you know, some of you don't. Now you all do. It's out of the way. We got the nuts off, so now we got a bunch of big bolts to pull. You know, we might not have to lift the truck up. It might come right out this side over here. All right, here's a little Rob trick, okay? So he got this cardboard cutout, and as we removed the bolts from underneath, I'd hand them up, and Rob would stick them into each spot. All these bolts, different lengths for different positions. And so now we have a little template. And we put some long bolts in, kind of to act as sliders. We're gonna crack it here. Crack the seal, and the rear end will start sliding out. It'll suspend on these bolts. Bada bing, bada boom. Sometimes you just gotta give it a little wiggle, y'all. Just a little wiggle. A little higher.
A little more.
Tell what we're catching.
Looks like the top maybe a little bit. Hanging up on these airlines a little bit. What size are the fittings on the can?
Should be 15 or an inch.
There we go. All right, we're clear. Come down the rest of the way. You want me to try to hold up while you pull the jack out?
Okay, I'm gonna let it down. Sweet. Okay, hey, look there. See that? That's only like, I have no idea. I haven't even guessed what it weighs, but it's hefty. Thankfully, we got some hefty on our side. But, here it is. I'm going to show you some stuff in the housing here in a second. You're going to see some serious wear. Check this out. Here are the little magnets. So there's magnets mounted inside the housing just to catch debris and stuff. Because if there were any big chunks that got hooked up in the gear, it would make things crazy. Look like little porcupines. All right, the next piece of the old puzz. So this is it's called the through shaft. This would go essentially through your rear end. Now, go easy on the ha-has. This would go through your rear end. Your rear end ties into this, goes through. This is the yoke that the short shaft goes into to connect the front axle to the back, yeah? So inside of here is a bearing. It's hard to see with the sun shining out there so much. There's just a roller bearing in there. And that roller bearing has 1,000,000.4 miles on it. We didn't have to take this out, but it's the right thing to do. Take it out, take it apart. We'll put a new seal in here, and we'll put a new roller bearing inside there. All right, snap ring comes out. Yoke comes off. Snap ring comes out. This is the housing for it. You see those bearings in there? Trying to get this age-old seal out, and then there's 2 sets of bearings. If you see, there's 1, 2, just double roller bearings in there in tandem together. Got a lot of cleaning to do, don't we?
Yeah, no, there's another snap ring in here that holds in the bearings.
Oh, I see.
Behind it. That side. That's the side that's retracting right now.
Oh. Ooh, close.
Come on.
Yeah, got her. All right. Do you like my hair today? It's pretty cool. I'm a cool dude. About the size of my pinky. Anyway, gotta be, I haven't inspected the ring gears, but probably a piece off one of those. Someplace. All right, everybody, have a look. Much better. Magnets are clean. Porcupines are gone. Housing sprayed down, wiped down. Cleaned around the edges, gave me some wire brush action. Now, we can do nothing but wait for the new rear end. Okay, here's the bearings that we pulled out of that through shaft. 1.4 million mile Timken bearings. I did see a Timken mark on there. Really don't look bad. Of course, you're probably not gonna be able to see what I see from their side of the screen, but a few little lines there. You can see a few lines on that left side bearing. New bearings, new races. Should be good for another mill, Robbie.
That's right.
So fast forward many, many days, we're back here in the old Coronado with Reboitis, and here we are. So this is always the story with parts. It seems like this is always the case. So we got it out. I don't even remember. I'm not even going to try to tell you the days and where we're at and what. We kind of ended up just having to give up on any kind of a legit schedule, getting this done on time for what I needed. So here's what we did. We pulled it out, called around, called Kenworth. They had one, couldn't have it in until the following week. Called my rebuilder who rebuilds my stuff. Normally, he wasn't going to be able to get to it for 10 days when the 4th of July is mixed in there, timeline-wise with all this. Call Freightliner. They can get one in next day. So second day, right? We can second day you in a Weller Reman front diff on this. I've had pretty good luck actually with the Weller stuff that I've used. Freightliner had the most expensive one coming in at $3,100. Needed this truck on the road, so I said, let's pay the extra couple $100. We'll go get it. We'll get it in. Plus, Big Rob's about to hit the road here doing some flatbed stuff for the next, several weeks. And I'm going to lose my main man here in the shop doing this stuff. So we're in a rush, right? It's worth a couple $100 to get it done. Well, as it goes, never shows up. Ends up being 5 days later. So now we're into this following week. That's where we're at right now. As a result, I told Freightliner I am displeased, and as such, I would really like this to be price matched to the cheaper cheaper rear ends that I could have gotten using some of these other outlets, which they were nice enough to do. At this point, I didn't get to use the truck for what I needed it for. I took Blue 3 instead. There, Weller Red. So Rob slid that thing under. I just got home off the road here a second ago from hauling cows. Rob's got this under. We got to tip it up onto that jack and then get her up into place. And we got these 4 long bolts that we'll use as guide bolts. We'll get it slid up in there and forward and in.
All right, come back a little bit. Okay, up. Okay, forward.
Oh, heck, sweet, we got our studs, huh? Long bolt. Get down under with a little more. So some gasket maker, this side of the differential, gasket maker on the pumpkin itself, the housing, and then we'll mate the two little surfaces together, and they will happily unite to create a perfect seal, which will last millions of miles. All right, we got them. Probably somebody out there is gonna be like, that's not the way. Well, today it is the way. The truth and the laugh. It's going. Here it goes. All right, well, she's in. Got a nice little squish on the gasket around there. As I do this, I have to sing you a song. Come on, little bud. There once was a ship that put to sea, and the name of the ship was the Bully of Tea. And the wind came up and the bird up there and blew, and Bully was blue. Terrible time to hire a trucker. Rob's been up here since April, and probably has hauled, I don't know, maybe half a dozen loads. The rest of the time has been spent working in the shop. Pay him a good mechanic's wages to work in the shop for me here. And then any of the serious stuff we need done, of course, we take to Mr. Joseph because he is the wizard. And neither Rob nor I have any ambitions or aspirations to dive into an engine. Rob has. He rebuilt his Cat in the past. He used to have his own Peterbilt and he drove it. Anyway, he sold that here a few months ago before he moved out. But just, it's best to leave that stuff to the professionals. But these kind of things, putting a clutch in, doing transmission swaps or rear end things, it's stuff that he can do. And in the trucking world, a rear end going out can be such a catastrophic thing. But when you do this yourself, we paid $2,750 for this front differential. and they're the more expensive one. The rear ones are cheaper than that. And when you can, you know, buy this, bring it home, roll it in the shop, and put it in yourself, that's just not that monumental considering, you know, tires cost $500 to $600 a piece. You know, you're paying $2,400 an axle for some good tires back here. This is like nothing, and you replace tires nonstop. So anyway, thankful to have Rob around to do this stuff. I tease him a lot and stuff about being the North Carolina mountain troll. But anyway, we get along really well and work well together. So we're having a good time. We got some loads coming up finally. Some good things going here the rest of the summer for him. So this was kind of the last major shop project that I wanted to get accomplished before he's kind of locked into these load cycles. And then once this next batch of loads goes away, we won't have a whole lot of time till the cattle run. We're back at it. Look, Rob's bringing these out of the freezer. What do you got, Rob?
Oh, ice cold, ice cold. Oh, ice cold races.
Oh, they are cold. Dang. Races have been in the deep freeze for like 2 days, and that helps with driving them in. So they're froze, which means they've contracted a little bit. Rob's going to drive those babies in, and this is the through shaft housing as a reminder to you. This is what sends power from the front to the back via this shaft. Huge mess on the table. Shop's actually a great mess right now because we've had a couple projects we've brought in between this project. So tools are kind of everywhere. Let's drive this thing home.
Beautiful.
Dude, that went in like butter, man. I've never seen them drop that far in each hit. You're just going like an inch down each time. Boom, boom, boom.
All right, center her up.
All right, so we got 2 bearings stacked in there. They back shoulder to shoulder on each other. There's a race in the bottom of that he just drove in, and then we got to get the other ice ball here.
The punch over. Beautiful.
Okay, snap rings in. See that? You got to really be sure your snap rings in.
Did you lock that those?
No, should I?
Yeah. I got blue right here.
I know. You haven't, have you? All right. All that work. We're backing out. We're going to go see. All right, y'all, heading out. We're on the pavement. So far, so good. We're about a mile in.
Yeah.
I don't hear nothing other than Jake brakes and grinding gears. Assuming all is well, we're going to pull over here in about 2 miles down the road. We'll stop and check everything. Just see if we got any things leaking and going. Barely warm to the touch. That's just for me overfilling it when we were filling up. Okay, well, I guess we're gonna call that a wrap, you guys. I think that's a successful front differential job. Okay, so moving forward, that was actually kind of our last truck project for a while. Upcoming things, I've got this white Volvo that I need to get cleaned up, waxed, shined. Gonna touch up some paint, do a few little things, and get it up and get it for sale. Need to bring that black Kenworth, remember the 600? Here's the thing, you guys. I know, like, when I made these videos with these trucks, it's like I had every plan in the world to take that little black Kenworth and take it on the road and go do a series, making some cash with it. But man, it's just the economy, the trucking economy is just tanked to where, because my point was I wanted to say, hey, this is how anyone can make it in trucking, so to speak. You know, any new fresh guy that's taking trucking seriously, get a truck, get these loads, do this. My advice to a young person right now is to not get into the trucking world. You want to go drive for somebody, great, but I would not suggest anyone buying a truck right now and getting into it that way. It's not the time. It's a good time to be going that way instead of that way. But anyway, those are some upcoming things we're going to do. We're getting into haying season. So between haying, we're going to start working on some of this stuff. But you guys, until the next adventure, it's Jax, it's Rob. Adios.